Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei Audiophil TV. Mein heutiger Gast war einer der ganz großen Stars Ende der 80er Jahre. Er hatte mit Stock Aitken Waterman seine ersten Erfolge und auf den Song Never Gonna Give You Up haben Zehntausende, Millionen von Jugendlichen Disco-Fox gelernt. Ich freue mich auf Rick Astley. Mein Name ist Ann-Kathrin und Sie sehen Audiophil TV. Viel Vergnügen.
Feel.
It is so great to have you here, Rick.
Thank you.
Because as a teen, I learned how to dance.
Wow. Can you teach me?
With your no, with your music. So
Thank you.
The music was the best.
Thank you very much.
Not the
Dankeschön.
dancing, but the
Okay.
music.
Danke.
So in one of the songs of the new album, which will be released end of June, and the name is 50,
Yeah.
you sing that you have too much time.
I think time is a really strange thing because on the one end, when you look back over a year and you think, what have I done? You know, I'm still pretty busy. I do lots of gigs and concerts around the world and everything. But I think there have been times in my life really when I haven't really been very focused, if I'm honest. I retired when I was 27 for a very long time.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. And for a number of reasons, I just didn't want to do it anymore. But it also meant that I was kind of always around for our daughter. And that's been one of the biggest rewards, I think, about the fact that I made those records. So I made a bit of money, so therefore I could actually pick and choose what I wanted to do with life. It means that I've, had that choice. You know what I mean? If I wanted to be home for my daughter, I could do it. And most parents don't have that choice. They've got to be out to work full stop. You know what I mean? So it's been pretty amazing, yeah. So I can't really complain about the time that I've had, to be honest, yeah.
I see. But you have now a really strong connection with your daughter, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think so. Anyway, yeah, I mean, she lives in Copenhagen. That's where her mother's from. That's where my wife is from. And she went there about 4 or 5 years ago to study art. And she's just never come back. And then she loves it. And I kind of, I've traveled all over Europe, obviously, for 30 years I've been doing that, I guess. And I think it's really important that if you've got another culture in your life that you actually, that it really becomes part of you as well. You know what I mean? So she's half Danish, and I think that's great, I do miss her, obviously, because she's not round the corner. It's not like she's in another part of London or something, which would be easy. But on the one end, it also makes it special, because if she comes on holiday with us, I think you value those times a bit more. I mean, she's 24, so I'm just glad she wants to come on holiday with us. But it's...
I stopped at age 14, I think.
Right, okay, yeah. But I think maybe because, she does live in a different country, then we all view that as a time that we can go away together and just be us again. Do you know what I mean? And she can pretend she's 10 years old again, and we do everything for her. No, she's good. She's really good. And she's helped me, I think. She's definitely helped me with certain things, because we've all gone through that, if you're my age anyway, 50, we've gone through that thing of we didn't have the internet, and then the internet literally becomes the way of existing in this world that we live in. You can't exist without it, pretty much.
Sure.
And certainly when you look at things like music or even fame, they're so kind of changed because of the internet. So it's been great that I've had a teenage daughter. She's now 24, but I mean, I've had a teenage daughter while that revolution just kind of happened. So I could talk to her about certain things, and she'd say, oh, no, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be doing this. Don't look at this. You know what I mean? And that's... We all get that from our kids if they're the right age, But I think for me, it's been really helpful, definitely.
Is maybe this connection so strong because you also have been raised by your father?
Yeah, maybe. I also think there's been something within me that really wanted our family to stick together, for sure. I think because my 2 brothers and my sister, exactly the same. They're still with their partners, and that's... I don't know, maybe we did feel that stronger, because I would think I was 4 or maybe 5 when my mum and dad divorced. So I think maybe somewhere inside me I did feel, if I get married, I don't want to get... In fact, I didn't actually want to get married, I think. I think that was the first thing. I thought, I don't want to get married because then you can't get divorced. So my wife and I only got married 3 years ago. And we've been together for 27 years, I think. I think for me, the idea of being married is, I think it's definitely changed my thought process, even though I've lived with her for years. And we have a child together. We're as solid as you can be, you know what I mean? But I think actually getting married definitely did change. It changed my emotional feelings about her and about myself, I think, and about the way I look at life, I think, yeah.
And you're never gonna give her up,
Exactly,
right?
and we'll be together forever.
Oh, wow.
But then again, we might cry for help every now and again if it gets a bit rough, yeah.
Until 50.
Yeah.
If you would have pursued your musical career when in the end of the 80s, start of the 90s, do you think that this would have changed your life?
Yeah, obviously it would. I mean, if you're releasing records and doing all that, you know, kind of properly, it kind of is the biggest part of your life, really. Not your emotional life, you know what I mean, your absolute private life, but I mean your everyday life. It just takes it over, which is one of the reasons I didn't want to do it anymore. I also think with pop music, unless you're Madonna, nobody gets to have 25-year careers. You know, so I think certain rock bands have done it, obviously.
And Sir Elton John.
And Elton John. But Elton John is different. We can't put Elton John in the same category as almost anybody, I think. You know, no, it's true. There are a few artists who've managed to do that for 30 years, 25 years, whatever. But it's only a few. And I think they're made of a different kind of... They're just made of something else. They've got something in them, I think, that just drives them that is... You just don't see it, you know what I mean? Because I think they have to overcome so many things in terms of... you know, giving themselves every time they make that record and go out on tour and saying, right, okay, that's my life for the next 8 months or 9 months or whatever it is. I don't know where they get the drive from to do that, if I'm absolutely honest. It's an amazing feeling, you know, when you have a hit record and, and you can do concerts and they're all singing along and, you know, it's an amazing feeling. And maybe that's what it is as well. Maybe it's like a bit of a drug. But I also think Elton John's a good example. I think he just loves music. You know, I know for a fact that he's always listening to new music, you know.
But he's doing the same music for 40 years now. And
Yeah,
Madonna changes from album to album.
Yeah, but I think he's done he's definitely changed it up and he's done some different things. I think Madonna does it. She does it also in the videos that she makes, and that she, like, a bit like Bowie did. She kind of takes on a persona for a record. She changes everything, kind of thing.
Her look.
Everything.
Yeah.
And she, you know, her whole thing with dancing and the performance of those songs.
Because of the producers, she always tries to find a new producer.
Yeah, sure, yeah. But I think if you look at a band like U2, U2 records sound like U2 records. Yeah. They're kind of different. And if you look back at very, very early ones to perhaps the last couple, they're pretty different. But there's something in those records that's those four guys. And it doesn't matter who produces them. It's still them, you know what I mean?
Do you think this is an advantage or a disadvantage?
I would see it as an advantage, because if you look at U2's career, that's been pretty good, I think, over the years. So obviously what they do, the magic that they create between the four of them, you know, they're one of the few bands that they've actually stayed together and are still doing it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, that must be pretty crazy for them. You know, you look at the Stones as well and people like that, that's pretty amazing that they've managed to do that, you know, because just being able to get in a room with people after all that time must be difficult sometimes, you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
You know, so to actually go out on a stage and entertain a football stadium full of people, you got to give them something for that, because I think that's, you know, that takes something to do that.
But they always want to listen to the old songs, so...
Yeah.
But I think it is an advantage that your new album doesn't sound like the first album.
But I think that's just a human thing. I mean, I think if you go to...
This has been a compliment, by the way.
No, and I listen, thank you. Sorry, I knew that was a compliment at the end. Sorry. I was just referring to this thing about the old songs. I'm exactly the same. If I go to a gig, I went to see ELO last week in London, and I actually really
Are they still
like...
existent? Okay.
Yeah, listen, it was amazing. Really great. The new record's really good, like really good. And he played a bunch of new songs from that record, and I love that. And in fact, there you go. He played all the hits, and the day after, I was singing the new song in the shower.
Okay.
So that takes something.
Yeah, that's
So he's still
true.
writing great songs, I think, Jeff Lynne. I mean, really, really great songs. So, but what I was going to say was that if, for instance, you go to the Louvre in Paris, there might be some. I'm saying that I don't know where they have new art in the Louvre actually, but let's say they do. Let's say there's a wing with new stuff. You know, everybody wants to go and see.
Sure.
Yeah, what's the name?
The lady with the smile.
Yeah, what the hell is that painting? The Mona Lisa.
Yes.
Everybody wants to see the Mona Lisa. Even if you're just going to stand behind 1,000 other people and go, okay, I've seen it. Everybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
And I think that's no different than music. I think if you go and see a band, of course you want to hear the old songs because they're the memories. They're the you know. So if I'm gigging, if I didn't play the old songs, I would think I was being really unfair. I think that would just be ridiculous. You know what I mean?
So it isn't boring for you?
No, but I retired for a long time as well, to be fair. You know, I didn't do it for 15 years. And also, those songs are a little bit of me. You know, even the ones I didn't write, obviously. You know, the big Never Gonna Give You Ups and all those, the really big ones, I didn't write them. But they're kind of they're my records, you know. And I totally understand that, you know. I don't have any issue with that. I think I kind of count myself lucky. You know, I had some hits in the 80s. It was, you know, the amount of people and records that I kind of loved, you know, and you think, oh, surely this record's going to be a big record. I love this record, you know, and it didn't happen. And you just think it's just that little bit of luck as well, you know, so, and I was really lucky.
But, you know, the young people today, they don't know the songs from then. Which is good, I think.
No, I think some do. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's yeah. Come on.
But when I told them, I will have an interview with Rick Astley.
Yeah, they might not know my name, and they might. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to use me as a total example, but if I, for instance, talk to friends' kids who are a bit younger than my daughter, for instance, and they're 15, and if I say to them, do you know The Cure? They might go, I don't know. But if I play them a couple of Cure songs, they know them.
Okay.
Or Depeche Mode or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Songs that I loved when I was, you know, even some of those records before I had my records, obviously. So when I was a kid at school and what have you, you know, favourite records, even going back that far.
Normally they know the cover versions, you know.
Yeah,
so
okay,
they think music from Madonna.
Yeah. That's true. There's definitely a thing sometimes, and I've done that with my daughter even, where, you know, you'll kind of say, well, if you like that, you need to listen to this because all they've done really is they've taken the structure of it, or they've taken it's you know what I mean, or like you say, they've done a remix of it. No, I think that's the beauty of what the internet's done, is that everybody can listen to everything. And on the one hand, it's a pain in the arse that sometimes, because there's just so much music to try and so much of everything else. But it is fantastic, the fact that somebody can go on there because they want to hear Rihanna's new song. So then they end up listening to a bit of Coldplay because they've done a duet. So then they end up listening to a bit of U2. So then they end up listening to Led Zeppelin. I don't even think you can get that from the radio so much anymore, because radio now is a bit more kind of like, well, we play this, or we play that, or we play that, and we don't play any of that. You know what I mean? It's very, they put it in a little box a bit more. And I think the internet is just like, woof, there it is. You know, it's everything.
But getting back to your new album, 50, which is really, for me, it is completely different. I detected a lot of gospel and soul in it, which I love.
Thank you. Yeah, no, there's a bit of that going on, definitely. I have worked with a few gospel choirs over the years.
And you've been in a boys' choir at
when I was
10,
yeah, for sure. And I really like the whole thing of singing with other people. I think also it's the most natural way of making music. If you play an instrument, there is some kind of translation between what you want to do and actually making that music and making that noise. I play drums, and I've always done that since I was a kid, and I still play drums in a little midlife crisis band with some friends. And again, for me, it's the next closest thing, because you're just hitting things. And that's, of course it's music, and it is musical, but it's very instinctive, I think. And that for me is what singing is. It's very instinctive. You either do it, or you don't, and you have that connection, or you don't. And I definitely have it. If I'm in a room and there's a choir singing, it just really, really moves me. Definitely, it just does.
Do you believe in God?
I don't believe in God in the conventional sense of the way of thinking about it. Really, no. What I believe, I have a lot of faith in human beings, and I think that we generate an energy and a power, and I think it's around us and it's all over and it's everywhere, and I kind of think it comes from us. I don't know whether there's an all-powerful being that is controlling that. I kind of feel more it's within us. So you could say maybe God's within us. You could put it that way if you want. But all I'm saying is that I think it's us. And I think if you go even to a football match, you feel that energy in the crowd.
Because of the connection between everybody?
Yeah, because 70% of the crowd are all rooting for one team. And you can feel that. You can feel that. And you feel it in concerts. They're all there and they're singing the songs and they're all kind of joining together to do that. And there's an energy within that. And like I say, you get that with a choir, especially with a choir, because I think they're really, really focused. I worked with a choir in Los Angeles years ago on a song called Cry for Help and a couple of others, I think. And they were absolutely amazing, like just a really great experience. And then they went out of the studio. And one of the guys had found a guy who was living on the street. So they brought him into the kind of studio, kind of little garden area. And they prayed for him. And they sang for him.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And it made me kind of think, okay, well, we kind of booked this choir to come and sing basically on a pop record. And the truth of it is, that's what we were doing that day. That's all we were doing. But what these people who came to sing, because they really have God in them and they have that faith and that religion in God, and they went and saved that guy as far as they're concerned. They saved his soul,
Sure.
And it was probably a bit over my head, if I'm honest, because I don't really have that faith in God as an entity, a being or whatever. I kind of more have it in us. I feel it. I think I have faith in human beings, like I say, and I think it's more comfortable and it's easier for me to hang on to that because I see it. I can see it in people. So.
Okay. I don't know how to go on with the interview because this is so touching and moving. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It is so every question will be silly now after this.
That's all good. That's all good. We've got light and shade. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a little roller coaster we're on here.
Perfect.
It's okay.
Is it possible that you do have a slight Danish accent?
No. I speak a bit of Danish, and I understand quite a lot of Danish.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have the impression that because they can't pronounce some you know what I mean, some
careful.
letters. No. We do have friends in Copenhagen, so
okay, yeah.
I love Denmark.
The thing is with Denmark and the Danish accent, I think people think it's, maybe not Germans because you're so close, but I think a lot of the world kind of thinks, oh, they're Scandinavian, so it goes, they're good, and it's got nothing to do with that at all. Yeah. It's a really difficult language to learn, I think, for two reasons. One, it's hard to pronounce it, and it's even hard to listen and trying to, follow it, I think. Yeah. But also because when I speak Danish there, or try to, people just answer in English.
Sure.
Because if I'm in a cafe, they just want to get on with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm going, my IBM in, and they're like, so yeah, whatever. What do you want? You know what I mean? So, it's, our daughter speaks fluent Danish, which is great, because it's like I say, it's part of her culture. She's half Danish.
Heritage.
So, So, and I did go to school for a couple of weeks. I think my wife just thinks I went out to cafes with women, but I did actually go to... because I used to go meet some of her friends and what have you, and then I used to go to one of our friends and do my homework. But it's just a really difficult language. I think unless you're going to live there, if you live there, then I think you could learn it. But to go away for 2 months and then go back and then try again is just really difficult because it's not. I mean, even like Spanish or even Italian or German for that matter, French. There's something in the accent that from wherever you are in the world, you've heard it. You've heard people speaking German or Spanish. You can kind of, you can pretend you can speak it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
With Danish, it's hard to even get in. It's hard to find that first,
But there are some famous people from Denmark.
Yeah, but they don't speak Danish.
Okay.
Sorry, they don't speak Danish in their famous lives,
Yes.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, correct.
Så jeg taler en lille
Yeah.
smule dansk.
Yeah.
So
But let's go back to your new album. Do you have a favorite song on
I
the
think
album?
that changes. I think that's the same with all records. You know, the last one you finish is sometimes very often the favorite because it's the last thing you finish. Do you know what I mean? And the latest thing you do,
Yes.
you know.
And the most personal,
Keep Singing is pretty personal to me.
which is the first single.
Yeah, because it's basically saying that all through my life, even from when I was a very small child, singing was something that I escaped into, really, and it's always been good to me. It's been amazing, you know.
And you never stopped also during you retired singing? You never stopped singing?
I did, but I mean, professionally, obviously. But I've always had studios and I've always written songs and messed around with music, and I've always had friends over and I've done demos for them and all that kind of thing. So I kind of had a proper studio built at one point, and I was going to try and be a songwriter for other people. And I just don't know whether I can do that, really. I don't know whether I've got the talent and the drive and the, you know. But I did do lots of demos for my friends, and I just have friends around and we just hang out and just mess around with music, you know. And I loved that, you know. But it wasn't necessarily to make a record or to do anything with it necessarily. So, yeah, I think singing has always been, it's kind of been something I have escaped into. Yeah.
And you did a lot of, or nearly most of everything on the new album by yourself. You played all the instruments, did the songwriting.
Yeah.
Would you say that you are more self-conscious now than you have been 30 years ago when you worked with Stock Aitken Waterman?
I think I'm just more comfortable in terms of all aspects of life, you know. And I think for me, making a record right now, because I knew I was going to turn 50, which I've just done in February, for me, I kind of wanted to, in a way, mark that and say, put a flag in the ground and go, when I was 50, that's what I did, you know. So I think, for instance, a lot of people have a party or they do whatever. And, you know, we actually went to the Florida Keys on my birthday, and our daughter hits her birthday the day before mine.
Okay.
So we were in Miami for her birthday, and then we were in the Florida Keys on mine. So I was drinking cocktails with my feet in the sand. So that was really nice. But I wanted to kind of do something. I think I wanted to do something. It just made sense to do, you know, to make a record at this point in my life, because who knows what's going to happen next year, or, you know what I mean? You don't know. And I just kind of felt it'd be a really nice thing to do. And when I started, I didn't really even think I was making a record. I was just making some songs, really, and writing songs. And yeah, I think I just got into the whole process of really loving it, and I was really proud of it. And a few friends who are big songwriters kind of said, look, these songs are actually the best songs you've written for a very, very long time.
Wow.
So maybe you should do. And also,
and they are right, you know.
Thank you. But also I think on social media, that's the beauty of that. Your fans who might come to a concert to listen to the old songs, they can tell you what they want. So they say, we like the old songs, we really enjoyed the concert last night in Barcelona or wherever, you know, but we want a new record. And eventually, if enough people say that to you, you start to believe them.
Sure.
You know. No, but seriously, people who've had a career like me, great, fantastic. But you get to a certain age in your life where you kind of think, yeah, but I shouldn't really make any new music. Nobody cares. Nobody wants that. They just want the old songs. But social media can put that right and can say to you, no, we want a new record. And it's not millions of people, but if it's enough, it makes you think, okay, I'll make one.
So it is like a present for you and for us for the 50th anniversary.
It's definitely a present for me. Whether it's a present for you is another story. But yeah, it was a nice. Well, thank you. But it was a nice thing for me to do, because I think hopefully I'm going to be 75, and when I'm 75, I want to be wearing like a different coloured velvet jacket every night in a little bar restaurant on the coast in Italy. And I'll have a fantastic jazz pianist, and I'll sing songs every night and maybe drink a little martini. I'll also have a microphone like this. And I will look back at the year when I was 50 and think, yeah, I made that record. And that'll be a nice feeling, you know?
And keep on singing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you.
And do you know what? Tomorrow morning in the shower, I won't sing. You're gonna to give you up, but I won't. I will sing. Keep on singing.
Okay, record that for me.
Yes.
Don't video it.
No.
Don't video it. Just record it. Okay.
Okay.